All right, let's go to Michael Kempa. He is a criminologist with the University of Ottawa. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Marilla.
Clearly, they have to plan for the possibility of something showing up, something taking hold, because they didn't plan very well last year. What do they have to take into account? Because it's one of the situations where they're not exactly sure what's going to happen.
Absolutely. The movement is very different from what it was this time last year, where originally we had a very cohesive group of people organized under the banner of anti COVID vaccine mandates. These mandates have now been lifted. So we have a very general social movement. It's a lot like gold dust in the air, where various groups are trying to pull whatever financial capital, political influence, and community status they can out of this remaining movement before it either settles to the ground or floats off into the atmosphere.
Do you think police present in the next weekend and in the weeks to come will have to be obvious then in the downtown core?
Yes, they need to demonstrate that they're prepared, that the police have learned the lessons of last year, and that they have the recovered personnel power that was missing last year. We can't forget that the Ottawa police were a little bit decimated last year by the effects of COVID-19 itself. This year, they're prepared. They've made their outreach to the OPP to coordinate with them should they need it. All the lines of communication have been well established by the lessons of last year. Whatever develops this year, it won't be like last year in terms of one massive protest that rolls on for days and days. We're likely to see several manifestations that coincide first with the 1 year anniversary of the convoy to begin with, then the 1 year anniversary of the invocation of the Emergencies Act on the 14th of February, and then ultimately with the publication of the Rouleau Commission inquiry report right around the 20th of February.
Okay, so you think clearly those days will be marked somehow, that this is not a time that will roll by quietly.
People will come. You see, there are groups. The second tier of leadership has moved forward now. So whereas Tamara Leach, Chris Barber, other of the core leadership are now prohibited from really engaging in activities related to the convoy and they're facing criminal trials, new leaders will step forward. They want to pull whatever financial resources, whatever political capital they can from this movement this year. They're going to start by saying, let's remember what we've accomplished. They're going to commemorate what they feel they pulled off last year. And then they're going to try to bring forward whatever new messages they may have, whether it may be things to do with why are we sending so much money to Ukraine? Can we have a new system where we remove government by simply a referendum if a government is unpopular enough? Different hobby projects that they have that they are hoping will pull people into their orbit this year in the same way that COVID-19 mandates did last year. But it's doubtful that these new causes will have the same scooping power that COVID-19 mandates did last year.
So Wellington Street, which is the street that runs right in front of the Parliament buildings, remains closed to traffic, and I guess they will keep that closed. But to try and keep any sort of pop-up demonstration out of the downtown core, will they then need to bring in vehicles and perhaps keep other streets in the core closed to pedestrians, closed to vehicles?
Yes, in a sense, the police have learned the lessons of controlling the flow of traffic. You see, there is no problem really with pop up demonstrations or even hundreds or small thousands of people who may show up for a finite period of time. We're used to that here in Ottawa. The police can handle that sort of thing. What we can't handle is a sustained protest of bedded in vehicles that goes on for several weeks. We're very unlikely to ever see that again. And if we do, the police have already caught on to that particular technology. I think protesters will have moved on in terms of their techniques because they know that the state has already caught up to that reality. They can deal with it now.
Michael Kempa, good to have you. Thanks very much.
Thank you kindly.